Welcome back, folks. I'm Kenjamin, and today we're talking about the best team that you should be running with Cubzero. So, we are preparing for the full release of Coromon. Of course, we have Aurora here, and Aurora is one of the first starters that you can get. So, if you don't choose Aurora, then you'll have to catch it later on in the wild eventually. In terms of stats, I believe Aurora has the highest physical attack among the starters and is the slowest of the starters, but where it lacks in speed, it makes up in having the best overall stats. And I think I just butchered the word having. I said having. I said it with an R for some odd reason. And then if we go to traits, we have these two, sharp claws and clumsy power. Sharp claws will just increase the attack. Oh, wait, no. Oh, lowering attack is impossible. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm dyslexic. And then, of course, you can increase your attack power by 25%, but then reduce your accuracy by 10%. I don't know if you would want to take that. Sharp Claws probably seems like the safer bet to go for, but if you really feel like you want to risk your accuracy, then definitely go for it because 25% increase is a very big difference, especially when you're going to use this tactic I'm going to bring up. So everybody knows of like the Aurora tactic where you go and you have 5 extra Coromon on your team, but they're all fainted. They're all dead. And then you just throw in Aurora and you use Beat Up because Beat Up, if you did not know, will do an extra attack for each fainted squad member, and its base power is 20. So if you're doing 5, wait, is it? No, I think it does. Yeah, it does 1 hit plus an extra amount for each dead member. So you get 6 hits altogether. So I think that's a lot of power right there. And that's basically the cheese method that everybody uses for easy and normal mode. Of course, if you were to do this on hard or insane mode, then your Coromon would just go back to the wild, into the unknown. So Cubzero Aurora is definitely easy mode, but if you don't want to go with that cheap tactic and you want to keep everyone on your team alive, then I highly recommend that you use Glacial, Splash. You can always go for Frost Chomp if you like the physical attack, but Glacial is like twice as strong as Frost Chomp, so I don't know why. Glacial Splash, either Frost Chomp or Static Fur, and then beat him up. Did I say beat him up? I meant beat up. Sorry. I can't read for some odd reason. So that's basically everything for Aurora. And of course, you have the Potent and the Perfect. Yeah. And then up next, we have Guildwing, who evolves from Silkquill at level 15. Now that I think about it, I think Cubzero evolves into Aurora at level 16, which is the soonest. Yeah, 16. Which is the soonest that a starter will evolve, because Cubzero evolves at 16. I think Nibelgar evolves at 17, and then Taruga evolves at 18. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, and then Silkquill you can catch in Hayville, Radiant Park, and Woodlow Forest. So it's like that starter bird that you can always get, like in every monster taming game. It just happens to be that way. And then in terms of stats, Guildwing is a very, very speedy boy, and then all of its other stats are pretty average to like below average. Silkquill and Guildwing are not the fastest Coromon in the demo. The fastest is Lunar Wolf, and I've calculated all the stats. It is Lunar Wolf. It is the fastest, and it has the highest special attack. But we're not talking about Lunar Wolf this video. So if we move on to the traits, we have Escapist and Robber. Escapist, this Coromon never fails to escape from a wild Coromon. And then Robber, the spoils go to the victor, steal 50% extra gold when defeating an opponent. So it completely depends on what kind of Coromon you want to go for. If you want to go for a Coromon, that's always going to make sure that you escape from encounters, then definitely go for the Escapist trait, but I don't think that's a very good trait, especially in battles. So I think if in terms of utility, you're more likely to go for robber because, 50% gold in the long run is going to save you so much time and gold, especially if you're going from beginning all the way to the ending. And we all know how hard it is to make gold in the game. And I know that if you sell like burr fruit, you can make a lot of gold, but burr fruit takes forever to farm. Like having to walk back and forth all the time. There's no like auto walk simulator that you can make. It's not like Pokemon where you can just abuse like the movement mechanics. But in terms of moves, Silquill has a good variety of moves. It has Wind Blast, it has Fast Strike, and has Claws that has coverage for against fire types and electric types as well. Yeah. Honestly, I don't use Claw very much because it's very weak compared to Wind Blast. But if you wanted the electric type coverage, you have Guildwing. But since you are going to be running a robber as one of your traits, go ahead and use Coin Snatch as well. And I believe you can use Coin Snatch up to 3 times before it starts to fail. Yeah, that's right. And then the amount of gold obtained for each use is 30% of their base reward. So your reward is already predetermined the moment you fight an NPC. And then you're just adding 30% on top of 30% on top of 30%. Or at least I think that's what the math is. If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. And yeah, you can only use it up to 3 times anyways. And then in terms of what stats that you should invest in for Guildwing, it's entirely up to you. Guildwing is already really, really fast, so I think you should either invest in attack or special attack. Probably don't invest in defense because, Guildwing's not out here to really defend or anything, and its HP stat is pretty average, so it'll live a hit or two, but it's not going to survive like a super effective, really strong poison type attack. And I forgot to say that if you are going to invest your stats, hold on, this is Cubzero, it's not Aurora. If you're going to invest your stats in Aurora, just maximize on your attack because Aurora already has above average stats overall. So maximize your attack or your special attack, whichever one you prefer. And if you're unsure about which one you want to maximize, then just play it safe and keep all of them reserved until the actual full release. And then you can go ahead and just invest all those points. I might do that. All right, so the very next Coromon that you can get really early in the demo, at least, because I don't know if this is going to change in the game or not, is Minnow. Minnow does have 2 evolutions, just like Cubzero and Silquill, but we don't know what its middle evolution is going to be just yet. We know what its final evolution is going to be, but I will not spoil that for those of you who don't know what Minnow's final evolution is. And of course, we have the standard, the potent, and the perfect Minnow. Perfect Minnow looks so cool. You're so cute, Minnow. Even though you have like all these rippling muscles, even on your nose. Your nose looks like a muscle. Nose is muscle, isn't it? No, it's tissue. What am I talking about? Is it muscle or is it tissue? It's tissue. So yes, you can catch Minnow in Radiant Park and Woodlow Harbor. Just pick your poison. In terms of stats, the stats are very good, especially for being like the very like base evolution of the evolution tree. Its speed is on par with Guildwing, which is actually very, very scary. And then its attack is actually higher than Guildwing for some odd reason. Like if you're not investing your points, Minnow is stronger than Guildwing. At least its attack. Oh no, its attack and special attack is actually higher than Guildwing. That's so interesting to see. Unfortunately, Minnow is very much a glass cannon. Minnow cannot take a punch. If you punch Minnow, he would turn into roast beef, unfortunately. But Minnow can hit just as hard as he can take a hit, which is not very much, unfortunately. I don't know why I made that comparison. But in terms of traits, you have comeback. When its HP drops below 25%, the Coromon makes a comeback, increasing its attack. Very risky because most of the time your Coromon don't drop to below 25% health. They drop to like either 1 HP or they're dead, And then there's motivated. Upon defeating the opponent, the Coromon gets motivated and raises its attack and special attack. This is very good because you can run Minnow as like your very first Coromon, and you can just, kill your opponent's Coromon one after another. Why am I saying kill? I should say faint. I'm supposed to be like a child-friendly YouTuber. Or maybe I should stop being a child-friendly YouTuber. I don't know. Let me know. Yeah, but I think motivated is going to be much better for you longer term. But if you're not going to use Minnow like that as, your glass cannon that's going to go and attack Coromon and faint them, then probably go for comeback. But then I still think motivated is the safer option to go, because if you're relying on comeback to prop all the time, probably not a good idea. I don't know if you can get comeback to proc if you go into battle and you're already below 25%. Oh no, it's when your health drops to below 25%. So that's when it procs. Or maybe it does proc when you are below 25% before going into a battle. I don't know. If anyone has tested that or wants to test that, let me know. Let me know how your results go, because I don't know if I want to test that. Should I test that? I think I might test that. If no one else tests it, I might test it. Light, if you're watching this, please test it. Cuz you're like the community tester. I love you. And then of course, in terms of moves, Body Blast you learn at level 22. It's a very powerful skill. It's one of the most powerful skills. I think there's Heavy Slam and then there's Body Blast. I think, what is it? Buzzlet and Bazzer learn Heavy Slam, and then Minnow gets Body Blast. So of course you get the heavy type skill, and then you also have Piercing Horns, which is fire type. So that way you have the ice type coverage. I think it's a little overkill having fire and heavy type, because you're already super effective against ice types, but you're securing the kill. So Body Blast, Piercing Horn, Tailspin is a very good skill to have. I think at most you can hit someone 3 times with Tailspin. I could be wrong about that. I can just check right now. Yeah, you can attack up to 3 times. Even though the accuracy is 90 out of 100, I still feel like I miss my Tailspins like 50% of the times. Like half the times I don't even land my tailspins. I feel like it's very misleading. But yeah, we have Body Blast, Piercing Horn, Tailspin, and then the last one you can go with whatever you want. If you want to go with Rage, increase your attack, you can do that. If you want to go with Agility Training to increase your speed, you can do that. And then I think Ignite will just burn the enemy. Yeah, it forces the burn on the target. I don't know. I feel like Minnow's already really fast. If you want to increase anything, probably increase its attack before using an actual attack. So that way you can secure a kill. And then after you faint a Coromon, Motivated will proc and you'll increase your attack and special attack even further. So don't kill Coromon, just faint them. Because if you kill them, there's no coming back. But if you faint them, if you're playing hard mode and insane mode, I guess it's the equivalent to killing them, because once the Coromon faint, they go back to the wild. So it's like going back to Mother Nature. It's very symbolic. Okay, so I guess you are killing Coromon if you're playing hard and insane mode. If you're going to invest in your stats, if you want your Minnow to have a little more survivability, probably increase your defense and your HP, so both will scale accordingly. But if you want to build Minnow as a glass cannon, then, just keep building attack, keep building special attack, because I'm sure as it evolves, its speed stat is just going to increase even more. So you're still going to outspeed, like, majority of the Coromon in the game. So don't worry about it. Minnow is here for the win. And then up next, we have a very unsuspecting contender. We have Gao Slime. So here's Potent Gao Slime, Perfect Gao Slime, Standard Gao Slime. I think Standard is probably my favorite color. Perfect still looks really cool too, especially with the very like lime green with the contrast of the hot purple. Reminds me of like a hot pink, but it's not hot pink. It's a purple. I don't know. Do you consider that pink or purple? It's like a magenta, right? It's like between pink and purple. I don't know. It looks really cool. But yes, in terms of locations, you can get it in the Thunderous Cave. And it says here you can only get it in the demo, so um get it while you still can. Uh, I don't know, I had something on my lip. Okay, so in terms of stats, it's HP and speed are non-existent. So if you're going to invest in a stat, invest in either speed or just go all HP. And I'll tell you why you need to invest in just speed. Because I mean, all of its other stats are pretty average. Like its attack, defense, special attack, special defense. Um, and it's one of the Coromons with like the most traits, and it's crazy. So sticky layer lowers the speed of an attacker making contact. It's pretty good. It's really good, actually. Stinky, 20% chance to make the opponent hazy outside of the battle. It has a chance to repel wild Coromon. So for those of you who don't know what the hazy effect is, because some of you may have taken a break from like all these Coromon updates, then oh, all these ads. So when a Coromon is infected with the Haze status ailment, crit chance is reduced by 20%, and all skills will require double the SP usage. And then this condition lasts for 3 to 5 rounds. And you can clear it using Gel Fruit or the Clear Cake. So those are the new mechanics that have been added into Coromon. And when I mean new, I mean like the most recently new update to Coromon. And it's actually a very, very good status condition to inflict, not to receive, but to inflict. And then we have gravity pull, so 25% chance to prevent Coromons from switching out or from fleeing. It's not all that great, I think. I mean, someone might prove me wrong and make this like the most clutch gravity pull build Gauss Slime. Prove me wrong. And then magnetic, when a spinner fails to catch Coromon, there's a 50% success chance to regain that spinner so you don't waste your resources. I think the best trait to go for is Sticky Layer, because if a Coromon makes contact with you, then they get slowed down. And if they're slower than you, then, you know, that's a problem because you can just punish them. And like I said, if you invest in your speed stat, you're going to eventually outspeed your opponent. Will a Gauss Slime ever outspeed Lunar Wolf? No. Probably if like Lunar Wolf attacked Gauss Slime twice, but then again, Lunar Wolf has a very high special attack, so it might not even touch you. So in the case that you never actually get touched as a Gauss Slime, you know, Gauss Slime just wants to be hugged. Gauss Slime wants love. Then go for Stinky, because at least that way you can make the opponent hazy. But I don't know. How does this work? Like, does a Coromon have to touch you to make it stinky, or do you just make it stinky like at the beginning of a battle or at the end of your turn? I don't know how that works. Someone test it out. Let me know. And then in terms of skills, this is why I think Gauss Slime needs to increase its speed stats so much. Gauss Slime, just like Frova, has so much utility. So it's amazing. So Taser is a very good one because Taser will cause the static ailment. You know, it'll cause Coromon to be unable to act. And then Disable is also very good. It works very similar to Disable from Pokemon. You know, the last move that your opponent used will be unable to be used for a certain number. Well, I can't speak. Will be unusable for 5 turns. Okay. That's what it is. And then from there, I recommend you use Power Slap because with each hit that lands, you lower the target's defense by 1 point or 1 stage. And then Electric Pound is a multi-hitting move. Yeah, it hits from 1 to 3 times, and then it has a 6% chance to knock down a Coromon. Oh, I didn't even know. It's a signature skill of Gauss Slime's evolutionary line. That's really cool. So I think Taser, Power Slap, Disable, and Electric Pound are very, very good. And you can use any of these skills, whether you go first or whether you go last. So it's a very, very useful skill. And I think if you use Taser, yeah, if you inflict shock on someone, I think it slows them down. Inflicted by a limited Coromon shot, there's a chance to only and suffers from a lowered speed stat. That's very good. Yes. So I think the perfect counter to like a Lunar Wolf is just to use Gauss Slime because Lunar Wolf isn't effective against Gauss Slime. Gale Slime is electric type. Yeah. And Lunar Wolf doesn't know any skills that are super effective against Gale Slime. So just put on like Sticky Layer or Stinky, use Taser, and then disable whatever last move it used. It probably used like Hypno Wave or something. Or if it uses Voodoo, perfect time to disable so it can't spam it again and it can't kill you. And then just, Power Slap and then Electric Pound. Or just pound it to death, you don't even have to slap it. Pimp slap, I meant Power Slap. And then up next, we have Slitherpin. I think we're going to be seeing Slitherpin quite a bit. I honestly wasn't a fan of Slitherpin until I was looking at its stats and its move pools. And then I was like, oh, okay, Slitherpin's actually pretty cool. I probably have to revisit my tier list and bump Slitherpin up because I think I put it in like B tier when it should actually be in A tier. But that's just because I've never actually used Slitherpin before making that tier list, and that was a long time ago. I'm getting off track. But this is standard Slitherpin, potent Slitherpin, and perfect Slitherpin. I always get the perfect and potent mixed up because I prefer the potent color palette. I don't know. Like a purple snake it looks kind of cute, but the potent one looks cool. Like, I like that. That's cool. And then you can catch Slitherpin in the Woodlow Forest and the Woodlow Harbor. So in terms of stats, it's pretty average all around. It's not the fastest, it's not the slowest, it's not the most hard hitting, but it can definitely take a punch, and it can give what it can also take. So this is like the perfect well-rounder, and it's great too because it's like the all-round team. Like not everyone's just a glass cannon, minus Minnow, of course. And then in terms of the two skills, we have good aim. Physical skills hit the right spot, increasing crit damage by 50%. That does not increase your crit rate. You will not land more criticals. You will just do more damage with your criticals, And then we have Molter. So there's a 30% chance to cure status problems. If you're someone who's, not willing to risk taking the chance of like trying to attack while you have like the shock effect on you, or like whether you got like the hazy effect on you and you just want it to be cured by chance, but you don't have like the materials or like the consumables to cure your stuff, just have Molter on. It's the safer option. Just go for Molter. But if you want to go for like maximum damage output, good aim is always a good one. It's entirely up to you. Just use whatever you want. In terms of skills, Slitherpin has very good type coverage in the sense that it's one of the only two Coromon to have a poison type skill in the demo. The other one being Beezle. But Slitherpin kind of is better than Beezle in the sense that I think Slitherpin outspeeds Beezle, but Beezle has a higher attack stat. But it's a very minor difference in the attack stat. But the difference in the speed stat is big enough for you to use, I think, Slitherpin. I could be wrong about that. I forget if it's the other way around. But in terms of skills that you should use, Poison Chomp definitely has an attack power of 40, and it's 4 times stronger than Poison Sting. And for some reason, Poison Sting is a contact move. Oh, because it has to bite for Poison Sting. But wasn't it just bite for Poison Chomp? Anyways, Poison Chomp for normal type coverage, and then you have Drain for the ghost type coverage. So, you can go up against Lunar Pup and Lunar Wolf. So then from there, you can go Constrict and either Toughen Up or Epiphany. But I'm going to go for Epiphany because, if you're using Toughen Up, you're better off just using Constrict or something. I forget. What does Epiphany do? Raises the user's attack and defense by 1 stage. Okay, I lied. Take Epiphany. Don't even take Toughen Up. No one cares about Toughen Up. What does this one do? Increases your defense by 1 stage. There's no point. Just use Epiphany because, status skills don't use any SP. And then I think Constrict reduces your enemies. Oh, no, just prevents them from withdrawing for 5 turns. It's kind of useless. So honestly, the 3 skills that you definitely need, though, are Poison Chomp, Drain, and Epiphany. Take those 3. They're a must-have. Okay. And then last but not least, we have Digma. I'm sure a lot of you saw this coming. Digma is like amazing. And I think Digma is like on almost every team. I don't know, especially when you're going up against the first Titan Voltgar. So of course this is the standard form, potent form, and the perfect form. I have never seen the perfect form, like for my own eyes on my own screen. It's very sad. But I will say I think the standard form is my favorite in terms of color. And then I think Mothful you can catch in why don't I just click on it? Oh wow. You can catch it in advertisements. You can catch it in Hayville, Woodlow Forest, Woodlow Harbor, and Thunder's Cave. So in terms of stats, it's pretty average overall. Its defenses kind of suck. It's kind of like Minnow in the sense that Digmaw is more of a glass cannon, but its defenses are just a little better than Minnow's. Is it? Yeah, it's just a little better, or at least its defense is compared to its special defense. It's a little on the slower side, but its attack and special attack are exceptional. They're very high. Granted, Digma is, the evolution of Mothful. So if its attack and special attack aren't up to par, then it's not worth using. But thank goodness it is worth using. So in terms of stats to increase, I recommend that you increase your speed stats. So at least that way you're not being outsped by like the occasional handful of Coromon that can outspeed you. But chances are if they can outspeed you, they're going to kill you. So, faint you. So don't get killed. Fainted. I don't, whatever. And then of course we have Escapist, which is very similar to Guildwing. And then we have Lucky, which increases your critical hit chance. So this is different from Slitherpin's Good Aim, which increases critical damage by 50%. Lucky increases your crit chance by 25%. So if there's any one of these that you should be taking, it's Lucky. Increase your critical hit rate or your critical hit chance by 25%. So in terms of skills that you should take, Double Slash and Boulder Barrage are cut and sand. So those two typings will cover the electric typing. And of course, you use them based on if you want to risk making contact with the Coromon or not. Like if you see a Buzzlet or a Bazzer, just use Boulder Barrage. Never use Double Slap. Did I say double slap? I meant double slash because Boulder Barrage won't actually make contact with them. And if you accidentally touch them, you might get shocked, and you don't want that. And then from there, it's entirely up to you. You can use Coin Snatch, you can use Constrict, Tailspin, you can use whatever. Honestly, all you need is Boulder Barrage and double slash and you're good to go. If you want to risk using Tailspin to get that like 3-hit KO, it's all on you. But Digmaw is pretty self-explanatory. Just kill. Just faint everything. Just faint everything before they even have a chance to retaliate. Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's all we have to cover for this video. Yeah. So we're using Aurora, we're using Guildwing, using Minnow, we're using Gal Slime, using Slitherpin, and Digmaw. Funny enough, these are all my favorite color palettes too, the ones that I left them on. Yeah. So chat, let me know what you think about this team lineup. Do you already have this team? Do you already have this team? Do you want to add or take out any of these Coromon? What do you think about the move list? Do you have this team already all at the perfect potential value? Let me know what you think. And thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video. Oh, also, I decided to format the video this way because I was a little too lazy to do like all those editing that I was doing. And I just figured this would be really easy because I could just come here. I already know what I want to talk about. And I just, push out the information because I feel like I know enough about Coromon to make this content. And, I just want to make sure that everybody is ready for the actual full release. And if you haven't noticed, I put all of these Coromon together on a team because they have wonderful type coverage. Like Aurora will be able to fend off fire types, even electric types, and water types. Guildwing will be able to fend off fire types, electric types. Minnow can fight off against ice types. I just realized this team is perfect against ice types. Yeah. And then Gauss Slime has electric type moves, so you're always going to have the advantage against water types. Slitherpin can cover against normal types and ghost types, and Digmaw will cover against electric types. Slitherpin and Digmaw are like a must have on an Aurora team. The other three you can kind of just replace with whoever else you find along the way. Um, and if you want to replace any of these Coromon in the full release, I highly recommend you replace Guildwing, Minnow, and Gauslime because Gauslime requires a little more utility and mechanic based gameplay. Minnow is just a glass cannon, not the safest build to go with. Guildwing, not that great type coverage, except, Wind Blast. That's literally it. And Cut from Claw. But Slitherpin, Digmaw must have on an Aurora team. Keep them on your team long term and let me know how that goes for you. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.